Today we're going to take gold and white paint and do a paint pour 3 different ways for World Kindness Day. Paint pouring is still relatively new to me, so you guys are kind of coming along on the journey of trial and error with me. So the first step is we need to mix the paints. So I'm putting the white and gold paint in their own cups, and then I'm going to add some of this Floetrol. I don't have an exact measurement that I'm using. I'm using this little measuring cup that I use for resin. And the best advice I've seen so far is to attempt to achieve the consistency of warm honey. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and mix until I get the consistency of warm honey. The gold paint is a lot thicker, so it took more of the Floetrol to get it to that nice warm honey consistency. In my first few paint pours, I used an apple barrel paint pouring medium to add to the paint to thin them out, but a lot of people use this Floetrol, and I wanted to give it a try because I wasn't completely happy with the apple barrel. Now I'm just going to layer this paint gold, white, into this smaller cup that we will then take and pour it onto the first rock. I'm using a foil covered plate, and then I'm setting down one of my little paint palettes to give it some cushion. This is kind of a freestanding rock, and the way the design is going to go, I'm going to have it standing up like this. So I wanted to pour from the top and let the paint drip down. So you can see kind of the marbling effect. It was a little tricky to get full coverage towards the bottom just because of the shape of the rock. One of the challenges with this particular rock is that the paint almost mixed in a lot of ways. There wasn't as clear of a delineation between the white and the gold that I was expecting, and that may be because I put too much Floetrol and they kind of muddled together. But I do still like the look that it created, and it's kind of fun to watch it dripping down the rock. I also switched it up to make sure the back had full coverage as well. I think this rock is going to be really cool when I find the right spot to put it because it's freestanding. It's almost like a little sign, so it's going to have to be a really special spot. I also used a straw to kind of blow to get full coverage and to kind of give some dimension to the design. And then I ended up taking a paintbrush to just get the undersides and make sure we had full coverage almost all the way to the bottom of the rock. Next, I'm going to give a try to a new technique called the flip cup technique. So I have to get this cup of paint. It's also alternated gold and white, but I need to get it upside down on top of the rock without spilling it out. So it helps if you have a rock that you can actually hold. And then we're going to release it and just watch all of the color flow, and then tip the rock to make sure that the entire surface is covered. I'm mostly concerned with getting the front of the rock covered, and then I can deal with the back once everything dries. But you can see the cool marbled look that it created, and some dirty fingers, but that wasn't too big of a deal. And now for the last technique, I'm just gonna pour the gold paint on because I have the most of that, and then I'm gonna add some white lines to it, and then take a straw and let the design create a marbled look. Out of these 3, I think this technique ended up being my favorite because it showed the most clear lines between the gold and the white, and I really liked that. And it also removed the step of having to alternate the paint in a whole separate cup. So here are the rocks after they've dried. There was a little bit of kind of crackling look with the white paint, I think created that because it's not metallic, but it's okay. I think it kind of added to the look of the rocks. So now I'm going to add some decoration to these stones for World Kindness Day. One of my favorite kindness quotes is, "Kindness is love in action." So that's what I'm going to put on all 3 rocks, with a large love in the middle with a heart for the O. This one I'm using a little bit of a mix of print and script, and I'm just going to thicken it up. I'm using the black Posca paint pen. It's a PC1M sized paint pen, and I liked keeping it simple with just the black because I really wanted it to pop off of the design. And just remember not to get intimidated by the writing. I know sometimes the script is intimidating for people. Use your regular print and just thicken it up and make it big. Add glitter paint to it to give it some sparkle. But I think the winner in this design is the quote itself. I really like this quote. Kindness is love in action, and that makes a lot of sense for World Kindness Day, that we're just going to kind of remind everybody of this. Another thing you can do to make this design pop is make that heart stand out. So on this rock, I'm filling it in with gold paint, and then I'm going over it with a dotting tool and gold glitter paint. So it will be very sparkly when the resin gets on here. On the second rock, I decided to create kind of a medallion in the middle of it for two reasons. I wanted to fill in some of the larger cracks that had come out of the paint pour, and then this rock was just kind of shaped funny, so I wanted to give it kind of an even shape to do the writing in. So I'm doing the same quote again, but I'm going to use the shape of the circle for the kindness is and the inaction parts to kind of arch above and below the word love. And you can see here how you can spruce up just your normal print by adding those little notches, and it just gives it a little extra character. So this heart I'm going to fill in with black paint and then cover with gold glitter. And then additionally, I'm going to take a dotting tool and that same gold glitter and give a nice border around that white medallion so it ties into the gold and white background. On the third rock, I'm going to go straight in with the black Posca paint pen and make sure that the lettering is nice and thick so that it shows up on this one. And the reason for that is because the gold on this rock in the background is a lot more bold than it is on the first two. I think on the first two it mixed a little bit with the white, so it kind of dulled the gold, where it's very bright and bold on this one. I feel like as kindness rock artists, we celebrate World Kindness Day every day, or whenever we're putting rocks out or putting ourselves into this art. So it's kind of cool that there's an actual recognized day for it that we can celebrate and maybe spread the word to others, and they might want to join us on this journey. I specifically chose gold for this design because kindness is golden, and I feel like we need lots of kindness in our world today. So if you choose to make some of these, I know you're going to put kindness into the design and out in the world when you leave them out for a stranger to find. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you. Check out another video and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Keep spreading that kindness, and I will see you next time.